there are no Ferraris, no Alfa Romeos, and no Renaults at Kyle Army.
We recently just covered the 1980 Spanish Grand Prix and how that was the first major issue of the FISA FOCA War. But what we didn't go over was how, in November of 1980, following the aftermath of the Spanish Grand Prix, FOCA made a play to detach from FISA and run their own competitive championship to rival the FIA Formula One World Championship, thus bringing out the creation of the World Federation of Motorsport, also known as WFMS, which would have had its own title, its own 18-race calendar, and also start their season off in South Africa just like FISA. So this is where things get a little bit funny, because the opening race of the 1981 Formula One season was meant to take place on February 7th, 1981. However, due to the ongoing turmoil between the two groups, the FIA proposed a new date, but the race organizers for the South African Grand Prix had already began marketing the race to be on the 7th of February, and so they refused to push this date forward. Funnily enough, a new idea was proposed to them, and that was to keep the 7th of February date, but instead of it being a Formula One race, it would be the first race of the new WMFS Championship, and this would then be run under Formula Libre regulations, which were more relaxed than the F1 regulations. So, all teams under FOCA supported this decision. For those of you who don't know, the teams under FOCA were the non-factory backed teams such as Williams, McLaren, Brabham, Tyrrell, and Lotus, to name a few. And the teams aligned with FISA were Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, Ligier, Ozella, and Renault. Those teams did not participate in the new championship. So fast forward to the weekend of the South African Grand Prix, the 11 teams participating in this new championship, they raced in wet conditions on the Sunday. Carlos Reutemann ultimately took the win. And while Carlos did win this race, it really wasn't anything to celebrate. I mean, he said himself, "I raced for nothing, no points, no money, no trophy." And he was right. This was the first and last race under WFMS. While Bernie Ecclestone had big dreams for this breakaway championship, the fans and the media did not care for it. I mean, with the absence of the major factory teams that were aligned with FISA, they really couldn't garner much attention for people to want to keep up with this series, so it left as fast as it came. An agreement was later made between FISA and FOCA to have the private run teams return back to F1, which they were able to do thanks to the signing of the first Concord Agreement. And this was first signed back in January of 1981, which had FISA agreed to more equal distribution of funds between the groups and ensured that all teams agreed to take part in all races on the calendar, which was a huge point of contention when it came to TV rights. And so while they were able to come to an agreement after the 1981 South African Grand Prix, this did not ultimately end the war between the two groups, and we will most definitely get into that in a later video. Also, fun fact about this race, Desiree Wilson did participate in this race, which I think is pretty awesome. And there you have it. That is one of the bigger controversies actually in Formula One history. Like, there was almost a time when F1 was no more, and who knows what it would be now.